Hey everybody, it's AG. Welcome back to the comic book collection update. We got another 5 comics for you, all continuing series. We're staying double down, triple down, triple down on not getting anything new. And I almost failed because they had some shit that came out that was like, but then I found 5 that was continuing. And I was like, I ain't gonna get it. So besides that, let's get into it. The Unchosen issue 3. Ada was with the headmaster talking about how the shard, and we're talking about this shard that's in front of them that's basically there to show what's going on into a realm above them. Ada thinks it's heaven, but the headmaster was like, if you want to say it's that, then yeah. But the headmaster was like, once you touch it, you'll realize you have great power, and with that great power, you'll come to understand a lot more and do a lot more things and see how you're a chosen person. So Ada tests the shard and she runs out, and Alex, what's his last name, Riley, but they was like, hey, he was trying to chase her, and the headmaster not let her go because she she now understands it's now out there, so she understands what to do and how to basically be prepared and everything like that. So let her go. I think what we did just worked. So now that they're gone, now that Ada ran, she ran outside. She ran a little way from the school, and she fell. And when she rolled over, she looked, and the same people that were there to when she woke up out of her little a coma where she didn't know where her, not a coma, but she woke out of like like she blinked out and she woke up, and then like the land was destroyed and her mom was gone and she's looking for her mom. And what made her start looking for her mom, those people who have the same abilities as like Alex and I forgot that other woman names, but the other person, uh, I think they call him like Alex is a priest, so the priest and the other woman was a guardian, and well, so they set up their, they were the ones that fought against them when they went to get Ada. Now that they have Ada now, no, they don't have now that Ada went with the priest and the guardian. They they tracked them down to the school, and you're wondering like how they didn't know where the school at. And it is because they came from it. Now let me break it down to you. Why they know? Because Ada was scared that when she seen them outside where she was at, they told her like, hey, look, listen, you don't want to be here because we used to be here. You're saying that you're special, you whatever. They told us that. And the thing is, they only can, they said they're using you. They're going to use you, and until you're with her up, they're going to just throw you away after. We would be there. We did that. Now, I want you to know that they're not telling you everything. They didn't even believe it, and it was like, hey, you do know like how we knew to point you out. One of the guys, one of them said, I think her name is Naja, Naja. She was like, before we met up here, I sensed when you touched the shard. You seen it. And Ada was like, what? Like, yeah, I know that you touched it. And that's how I realized where you was at. Like, I know that you know that something's not right here. And if you come with us, we'll break everything down with you. Like, we're breaking everything down to you right here that things ain't right. And we want you to come with us because they're just going to use you and do something with you. Do something messed up to you. And then Daniel shows up, her little friend. Then he's trying to convince her, don't go with them. They're bad people. They're evil. And she was like, no, something's wrong with the school. I'm going to go with them. Blah, blah. And Daniel was like, oh, so you really, they already corrupted you. Oh, man. They, dang, this school is trying to help you to prepare and fight. but you're already corrupted. And he ran trying to call for help. So now they're trying to run away, and the Guardian shows up and basically tries to, take Ada with her, like try to not let Ada go. And they start fighting. And when they start fighting, Ada jumped in the no, well, Ada, no, that the whole group don't fight. They're trying to run, but one of them he chose to fight, and I'm trying to think what is his name because he's the hot-headed one. He really don't have no patience, and he's about to fight the Guardian, and I want to say Marcus. Yeah, it's Marcus who's trying to fight the Guardian. Marcus are squared up, but Ada stops them and tells him, "Nah, I don't need to be this. Just let me go with them, and let it all be great." And the Guardian, she's like, I don't think. And when she tried to like talk with Ada, she gets stabbed by Marcus. Marcus was like, "Yeah, if you don't remember who I am, yeah, this is y'all never stop, and we're about to end, and we're about to end. I'm ending you right here, and we're about to take her." And like, so she got stabbed. The Guardian got stabbed, and Aiden, like, when the rest of the school comes to try to help out, they jump through the portal and they leave, and they meet a doctor on the other side in this cold area, and we're going to be finding out who she is and what she knows and explaining and breaking down in the next issue. And it's like, okay, so yeah, Ada have this weird feeling that the school ain't right, but man, at least the Guardian was trying to stop when you told him to stop. Where the other person, Marcus, he just kept going like, how do y'all let a hot-headed person stay on your team like that? So I think she chose the wrong side, but we'll find out in other issues. Okay, so Cul-De-Sac issue 2, and I gotta say, it did good towards the end. It got real interesting. Well, it picked up on the pace. Um, so basically, it's the kids coming to terms that their parents did, saying their last goodbyes, and then coming up with a plan. The plan was basically check Gail and Sam's mother's phone and see what's going on, if they got some answers to the stuff, or see what they could do next. And they did. By re-listening to the voicemail Gail mother gave to her, was sent her. It said go to Galton and uncertain, and said something about uncertain. And with that being said, so they basically, like I said, basically came up with a plan to go to town, go to the city, and get some tickets to ride the bus to go there. Well, before I say there, they called Galton. He was in the phone, and he said, "Come to certain distance of somewhere in Texas." So they go to the trains. They go to the bus station, and on their way there, Colin, he went. He told him, "I'll be catch up with y'all in an hour," and he went off track and went somewhere else. Well, he turned around and went back to the house, and when he went back to the house, the police was there and they was trying to figure out some stuff. And then Jaeger, and it's Aaron Yeager. They was just gonna say Aaron Yeager. It could be Jagger or something like that. But we're gonna say Aaron Yeager. Aaron Yeager, yay! Attack on Titans. But Aaron Yeager shows up and said, "Look, I'm XTR, extraordinary, threatened, whatever, you know." And the police let her check the crime scene and see things, and so we did that. Yeager went back to the house. They was all in Sam and Gail's house because of, that's where that's where the fight happened. The bodies were at. So Yeager, no, Colin went to his house to get his dad gun, and he kept having monologues in his head, talking about, "I gotta be a leader, and I gotta do this, but I'm freezing up, and then I gotta control, I gotta find a way to protect him, and so I got a gun." Mind you, Gail set a man's head on fire. Oh, and there's another detail. After she did that, she ate him. So yeah, that was also said. Like she ate him. So now her and Colin are like not really humans no more. And the thing is, when she ate him, I think there's like his body's basically missing. It was just like just trails or something like that. I don't know, or if they removed his body, or she faced on him, and you know they had particles from the ashes and whatever like that. And oh, his body was drained of blood. Yeah, that's what they said in the thing. So, but anyway, let's go. Let's keep continuing. So Colin got the gun, but Jaeger seen him. And the thing is, how she jumped and how she moved was not human like. Yeah, so let's talk about Jaeger. Jaeger was hired by Thrall. Thrall is the boss of the Mortys or whatever like that. And the Morty are basically like a group of people that hunts vampires, and that one little crew is the one that killed, you know, Sam's Gale, Colin, and I think Harrison or something like that. Um, Parents. And with that being said, like they wants to find these kids and make sure that these kids aren't actually vampires. So they're taking the job too. And but the thing is, they don't want Aaron Yeager to basically be involved because it's like they lost 2 men to this. So they was like, they want to handle this because of that. So they ended up doing something and find out that Sam and Harold Harrison used their like bank accounts to withdraw money. So they picked that up and was like, "Oh, they're in Portland. They're by a bus station. They're trying to skip town. And if we don't, and if they're using cash, we won't be able to find out where they're going." So they, pulls up there. Now, Colin made it back to the group, and the bus don't come in a couple of hours, a couple of, not until a little bit. So they all talk and they was like, hey, bro, Colin said, it ain't no problem. I ain't giving no problems. I'm not a problem. I didn't get caught, so don't worry. And then that's when Sam and Gail said, you are a problem and you do bring problems and you got to chill. So Gail went go to like a vending machine to get a snack or whatever like that. She probably was getting it for Sam because she now can't eat regular food. So she was at the thing, and one of the guys from the Morty was there, and he used a crucifix to like try to burn her, and he basically do some martial arts and flipped his ass, boom, and he was like, "Hey, kid, I'm trying to help you. I don't know," and like so he believes she's not a vampire, so the kids are not vampires to him because of the crucifix. But they don't know nothing about the necrotales. The necrotales are different. They can have children and stuff like that. So they are vampires, but they're not really normal vampires. They have there's something special. So he radioed back in trying to tell, his group and his friends that, hey, the kids ain't a vampire. The crucifix didn't work. So we got to tell Thrall to tell Jaeger not to be involved. And then he felt the hand, like someone touch him, and he was like, don't worry, she already knows, and uppercuts him, boom, knocks him out or kills him, I don't know. And she was like, yeah, if you scared off them kids, it's gonna get ugly. So you need to back off. And like she left off. So Gail gets back to her friends and tells them like, hey, that group, they found us. They found us. They found us. They found us. We need to think of a different plan. So they didn't hop on the bus. So they didn't hop on the bus. And because they didn't hop on the bus, they didn't die. And what do you mean by that? Well, if you can see the cover of the comic, there's a bus that exploded. And that was the bus they were supposed to be on. Jaeger got there and exploded the bus. How? I do not know. But hey, doesn't matter. So they realized that bomb was meant for them, and they try to run. The other little group was like trying to figure out things and was like, "Hey, look, we find your boy. We find whoever his name started with a P," and they were like, "We find him, find the kids, and we try to do something with this." So the kids are going try to do another plan. The Mortys are trying to basically gather stuff, but Aaron Yeager calls Thralls and tell him, "Listen, I tried to I gave him my best fireworks. It didn't work. So plan A is out the window. It's time for, fangs and claws or something like that." And Thor was like, "Make it work. I trust your instincts." So Thor transformed into a full-fledged creature like vampire with wings and claws, and it's just fucked up ass skin, and it's like, whoa. And that's where it ends off. So we're gonna be finding out what's the next the next situation for issue 3. Uh, like I said, it built up a little bit at the end of issue 2, so it's like, yeah, I can't wait for issue 3 to see how this is gonna go. All right, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, a league for justice. Okay, so Zod released. Uh, Lex Luthor sits up there and becomes his servant because yeah, Zod about to kill his ass. But Constantine and Raga Ghul is basically seeing from a distance what's going on. Then God and Lex Luthor disappears. So Constantine is Ra was thinking like, "Hey, bro, we gotta go and warn everybody about this." And Rob was like, "I got a medallion that can make me go anywhere." And he's like, "Hey, we could get another one of those, and I know where." So they left. Now we go back to you know everybody, and they found the little facility where Lex Luthor had went to right after, with Zod. They they sensed them went there and they went go search and stuff like that. They seen a big ass safe. They open it and they made Cyborg and the Flash. And how they meet him is Cyborg was trying to help Flash basically control his abilities, but he couldn't reach him and get him to understand. And then when Martian Manhunter went into their minds to connect them, and he got them to understand like what to do, like well help Cyborg to make the Flash understand what to do. And basically now we have uh, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, uh, Super Sentinel, Batman, Flash, and Cyborg, and so all of them. But while they was doing that, I forgot which another Terraria or something. Basically, one of the assassins of the League of Shadows or whatever like that came and told him, "Hey, bro, look, we're coming to help you." Because the League of Shadows is not bad this time. They're in this one. They're like actually good. They was meant to help protect. So with that being said, they were trying to. So basically, they all link up. Batman goes back to his mansion with the League of Shadow members. You see, I'm guessing that's the Huntress that's in there, but it's using her different name. And Alfred was training her, and basically they went to go get a book to learn some more, and it was stolen. They went go. Batman knew where it was at. He met Constantine. Constantine and him was talking. Constantine. This the reason why I'm fast because this is a lot of stuff that was in there. So Constantine and him was talking, and they basically explained like, "Hey, yeah, got it, and I was just here to meet you and blah blah blah." But it's like, listen, where's the book? Batman was like getting straight to the kid with a book, and you're like, oh, something about Catwoman came get it, and that's what I was. And it was like, hold up, you know what? Boom, he left. And he was like, you just stalling me. I know what to do. So he chased down Catwoman. He found Catwoman would had the book, and Catwoman almost got away until the Huntress came, got the book from her, and that was it. Zod was somewhere where one of the gates to the Eternal World or Eternal Shadow, whatever like that, was at, and it was destroyed. And he blamed like the Queen of the Amazonians. And when he looked back, he seen the whole League of Justice. That's what they call themselves right now, because that's what they says at the end of the thing. And it's like, yeah, this is the League of Justice, and we're here to fight you. And it's like, oh, you got a League of Insects, but he don't realize that one of them is an actual Kryptonian yet. So he thinking he gonna be able to handle him because he conquered Mars in aluminum film, and he was almost able to conquer Earth, but he about to find out that he's gonna need a little bit more because the League of Justice is coming to a league for justice coming to beat his ass. But we all see on the next issue. Okay. We have Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion number 4. Now, in this one, we start off with Spider-Man with what's this girl name? I don't know, but anyway, he starts off with one of the girls he met in Japan, and she, me. So with me, him and me, then like somewhere in Russia, and they're just trying to basically track down where Billy is, his sister. So when they're in there and they found a cabin, they went go get warm, get some sleep, and Nancy, you know how I had that Static Shock with a Nancy Little crossover, like one shot. Basically, it's a Nancy in the Marvel universe, and he's basically talking to him, telling him you know, he can't. Nancy can't help him, but he's happy he was able to find him and tell him, look, you're going to be taking some defeats. You're going to take some loss. You're going to have like some doubtful moments. You're going to feel a lot of suffering, but don't let that stop you. It will. The story will be great at the. This would be a great story. Just don't let the bad part stop you. So with that being said, they keep going and they find Majik. Yeah, I think Magik, Queen of Limbo, and they fight her, and like it takes some teamwork between Miles and Mai to actually beat her, and they ended up getting actually beating her. But when they beat her, the laboratory that Billy's in is the alarm's going off, and like I don't know who this guy is. I thought it was like this version of Blade because he's a vampire. um, Emmanuel de Costa. I never heard of him in any of the comics or well any of the Marvel TV shows, animated shows, or movies that I've seen. So he ends up taking Billy, which is crazy because he's the reason why Maskeek got her anyway. So Majik got her anyway. So it's all just weird, and he's about to use her to open a thing. They need Billy to open his door. I think it's for the Maker. And when they open the door for the Maker, something's gonna happen and change the world. But the next thing is you find out like before he takes her, Billy was going to be put into this machine that was going to take her life after they enhanced her aura to open the thing. So he, Emmanuel da Costa, actually saved her somewhat, but he's still going to use her. So now I still got to track her down. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so issue 3, I want to say, Captain America, Our Secret Wars. I don't know how I want to break this up, but I'm gonna do with my first instinct. So I'm gonna tell you about this flashback, right? Because the flashback is like it happens at the beginning, continues during the middle, ends towards the end too. So it has like 3 different parts of the flashback, and I'm just gonna sum it all up. Okay, so the flashback is basically about the new Captain America, Colton, and his time after you know they freed everything in Iran, Saudi Arabia, all that stuff, like Sudan, like basically from Osama bin Laden, whatever. Oh boy, I haven't said his name in forever, so that was hard to say. Bin Laden. So with that being said, this is the flashback when they beat him, and he's basically like they still out there patrolling, and there's still threats out there. So it was a little weird. So the him and his unit were just basically fussing, talking about how they want to go somewhere else, how they would miss another place, which was surprising. But at least they didn't have to use when using a bathroom, they didn't have to put stuff in a bag. They had like running water, and While they doing that, Colton noticed this kid looked at him and ran, and he knew that was something up. And a car started coming to him, and he started shooting at the car, and then an explosion happened. And I'm gonna just say the whole flashback. So the explosion happens. Teammates died. Team members died. Some of them were just injured. Some of them was all right, just shooken up. And Colton like basically seen a soldier run towards a way, and he went follow. And then he sees the little boy running, and the soldier who was actually his uh on his unit, he sit up there and shot the young boy. And when he did that, it really like messed with Colton, because he was like, "What the fuck is we going? What the fuck are we doing here? What the hell is everything going on?" And Colton ended up like beating the shit out of the soldier after he said, "Oh, since that kid want to play, he knew what was going on, and since he want to play with the big boys, he gonna get dealt with too." So Colton beat the shit out of him, and basically, I don't know if the man's dead or not, but he beat the shit out of him. And like everybody else around him was like, "What the fuck?" They had like civilians looking at it like, "What the fuck?" Because they didn't care what happened. They knew that was something like that was going to happen, an explosion. So they just went on about their day once they happened. But like they look back like, "Oh shit." So I wanted to just explain that full flashback, because there's a lot of inner monologue with Steve Rogers, Captain America, and basically it's just like this. He's not believing. So no. Okay, so let's just say it like this. Okay, so let's get back to present day. Present day is Captain and Doom is meeting up. Doom telling them, because of you stopping Hitler, we was able to do so much. We was able to get like this, and thanks to you, this is what our country is now. And the Captain was like, "What's the difference between you and Hitler?" Hitler was elected, and then he explained further. I took power because I needed it. I saved my people. And then he said, "Come check this out." He took him and the leader of the resistance, took Captain America and the leader of the resistance, and brought him to an older woman and said, "You, we used to fear. I used to get my stuff stolen. Now with this man, we're in a great spot. We're doing stuff, and I can live in peace." And like the captain of resistance was like, the leader of the resistance was like, "Nah, you don't live in peace. We still live in fear for death." And so, and Captain was like, "Yeah, that's a big difference between what you trying to make it seem like." And Cap just playing along because he needed them to, you know, stall for Colton and that unit to go and basically take out go get the hostages, so the American hostages. So while Cap doing that, he's basically Captain told no, basically Captain dealing with that, but Captain basically was like, "Man, there's no difference with you and Hitler, and you basically need to not mess with America, so you should free the hostages." So Doom was like, "All right, I'll free the hostages." Said, "I'm hit a call. Hey, let the hostages go." And when you cut to Colton team going to save the hostages, they bust through the door. They dead. So basically, I think Doom had basically told him set them free was basically kill them. So they attacked, killed them, and said, "Where's the real? Where's the? These ain't all the hostages. We're the last two. We're the last two hostages." And that was one of the prime ministers, or whatever. That was like his wife and children. So they was like, "Okay, we're going to have to go get them." And then like basically he sends a message to Cap to Steve Rogers saying he killed the hostages. They only got two left. The wife and child is the only ones left. And then like Doom was like, there was like more conversation. Doom was like, "Oh, you think I don't even know about the other squad going to them? I've been knowing about my Doom bot's been with y'all with the resistance for months. We knew everything. We was just buying our time, and now it's time to end all this." Then it was like, Doombot, you keep Rogers occupied while we go public, while we public execute the resistant leader and stuff like that. So Rogers fighting the Doombot, and Doom takes the resistant leader. But also Colton people I think get captured up too. I'm not sure. I don't really remember that part because that was like their little situation was a little weird. Um, but while while they was fighting, while Captain was fighting Doombot, he was able to beat him, and it's self destruct. And like on certain situations, and I think oh yeah. No. So with Colton, the explosion happened. That's where like the mid part of the freaking flashback and stuff happens. So Captain basically beat the Doom out and an explosion happens, and like we don't know how it happens with that, but all in all, this whole situation, Captain America, Steve Rogers, have these interlocks that's so nice in his head to make him right. He's questioning the freedom of America because he's like he understands he's a guy from the past that it makes sense and stuff that Doom told him like helps make him believe it. But he was like, I'm not gonna trust Doom, and it's like he knows Doom is like not really telling 100% truth, but it's like he's borderline is, and it's like he knows like there's basically he's basically somewhat telling Doom, well, not Doom is basically telling him like stuff that making Steve Rogers inner monologue like really deep that even America is now messed up just as much as a dictator. And we got democracy and stuff like that, and it's still not even to where it's perfect, and it still seems it's just as bad or even worse than a dictatorship. So, but we'll continue this in the next issue.